This next story is one that could affect tens of thousands of people all across Oregon, namely you renters. The state of Oregon controls how much rents can be raised each year. Today, the state published the amount for 2025. It's 10%. That's the highest possible under Oregon law. It's important to note that this only applies to rental properties that are at least 15 years old. Landlords of rentals newer than 15 years old can still raise rent as much as they want. This issue goes back to 2019 when Oregon became the first state in the country to impose mandatory rent controls under Governor Kate Brown. It only allows for one rent increase in any 12-month period. That increase is calculated starting at 7% and then adding the percentage of inflation on top of that. Now, you remember headlines like this a few years ago with eye-popping rent jumps of more than 14%, which was calculated using the 7% plus inflation formula. So a lot of folks thought that was too high, and that changed last summer when Governor Kotek signed Senate Bill 611, which capped annual rent hikes at 10%. They still use the 7% plus inflation formula, I guess hoping maybe one day it'll be lower, but it can't go higher than 10% thanks to that new law. Here's a look at rent increases in units 15 years or older since the rent control law in 2019. It hovered between 9 and 10% for the first couple of years before that big jump in the first half of 2023. And then every year since then, we've been at that 10% cap, which will continue in 2025.